Hey people, this is my weekly review of things in entertainment that interested me over the past week. And today is another special day for me. Last Saturday was my 100th video, and this Saturday is my 21st birthday. So it's kind of exciting. I mean, it's another birthday, but I'm not one of those people who's like, oh my gosh, 21, yeah. Like, my feeling towards turning 21 is that if you're one of those people who's like super excited to turn 21 so they can drink, you've probably been drinking already, so it's really not that big of a deal anyway. Me, I personally didn't drink before, and after midnight last night, I had one beer since I was with my friends, and they were all hyped up about it. Like, I feel like everybody around me was like, oh my gosh, you're 21, this is so exciting. I was like, yeah, it's my birthday, but, 21 is kind of an insignificant number. It's a very random number if you think about it. I mean, to me, turning 20 was more significant than turning 21. But, people have their priorities and their things they get excited about. But moving on from personal stuff, to give an update on a story that I talked about a while back, Josh Trank, the director of Chronicle, who was rumored to be in talks to direct a Fantastic Four Reboot, has denied this. He says he hasn't been talking to 20th Century Fox about directing that film. And he says he seems to be more interested in doing original material than adapting anything. So it's not saying he won't ever direct a Fantastic Four film or a superhero movie, but for right now it's looking like it's not going to happen anytime soon. To give another update, I think I've talked about the film Prometheus a bit in the past, and they have released an official teaser trailer for the film that shows a little bit more than what we've seen in the past. And to me, Prometheus looks like a pretty cool movie. But I'm not personally really hyped for it. I know it's possibly connected to the Alien film franchise, and I've seen the first two Alien movies, and they're decent. But I'm not a big fan of that film series or anything. So, while it does look like a cool movie and a pretty big movie, it looks like there's a lot going on there. There's kind of a mystery surrounding the plot of this film, which is cool, and it has actors like Idris Elba and Michael Fassbender, both of whom I enjoy watching. Well, Michael Fassbender I've only seen in X-Men First Class, and I enjoyed him in that. So, but yeah, I'm probably going to see it eventually, but it's not something that I'm going to rush out to theaters to see. Well, at this point, if I see more from it and it does start to excite me more, then maybe I'll get hyped for it. But at this point, it's just kind of on my list of things to keep an eye on and possibly go see. I'm probably going to pronounce the name wrong, but Gael Garcia Bernal has been chosen to play the lead in the upcoming Zorro Reborn. And for those of you, if there are any, who are like, oh my gosh, Antonio Banderas is not going to be Zorro anymore, how can they do this? The guy's 51 years old, so settle down. He's a little bit old to be playing this character, so it was time to move on and choose somebody younger to play Zorro. But anyway, I have seen this actor in a film called Motorcycle Diaries before, and I think he's pretty good, and the role is in good hands. I am a little bit concerned about the plot of this film, because from what is known, I think they're going with some sort of futuristic plot and a futuristic Zorro. So it seemed basically like Batman Beyond but with Zorro. And it could be very cool, but it could just be awful. One of those concepts that you look back on and it's like, what were they thinking? But since I think changing it up significantly like they're planning on doing might be the way to go, because the last Zorro film in 2005, Legend of Zorro, was kind of pretty mediocre, honestly. So to get people interested and show, hey, this is something different that you haven't seen before, to do something that's very different in terms of tone, visual style, setting, and everything, that could really just capture people's attention. Like, whoa, that's a really cool take on Zorro. So hopefully this is a good movie. I'm a big fan of 1998's The Mask of Zorro, starring Antonio Banderas. The second one was meh, but the first one I really like, so hopefully this will be as good as that, if not better. But, we'll have to keep an eye on it and see what happens, so fingers crossed that this turns out well. Teen Titans will be returning to Cartoon Network next month, I believe, in the form of these little comedic shorts that will be airing as part of, I think, a whole DC shorts series that they're going to be doing. So it's kind of exciting if you're a fan of Teen Titans. I enjoyed Teen Titans, but I feel like it's not one of those shows where it's like, oh my gosh, it was gone too soon, because I feel like Teen Titans got to kind of run its course. It told an ending, and I was satisfied by the time it ended. It's like, you always, if you have a decent show like that, you always wish you could see more. And it is exciting that we're going to be able to see these characters again, even in less serious form. But I do believe that all of the voice actors are coming back. If they do have a little clip released, so check the link in the description to watch that. But it's not one of those shows like, oh my gosh, Teen Titans was canceled, because shows like Spectacular Spider-Man that didn't get to tell their whole story. It's like, oh gosh, I'm so ticked off they canceled this. And Wolverine and the X-Men, they were leading up to what looked like a very cool story that came after that. So I'm glad to see Teen Titans again, and even if it was a show that got to run its course, it's always nice to see these things come back. So maybe there is hope for some of these dead shows. But in the case of like Spectacular Spider-Man, they are doing a new Spider-Man series. I don't think so, but I sort of thought the same thing about Teen Titans. I was like, Young Justice is coming on. It's kind of the same demographic. You've got this teenage superhero team. There's no chance you'll ever see Teen Titans again. Here we are, and we're getting Teen Titans. So who knows? There's a decent bit of information that came out for The Amazing Spider-Man over the past week. There was a new international trailer release, which is very similar to the trailer that was released most recently for the film. But there is just a little bit of new footage in this trailer, just kind of extended versions of some of the clips that were shown in the other teasers. So if you are interested in seeing more, I think they've got they show a little bit more of the fight scene with the police in this international trailer, so check it out if you're interested. There is also a new trailer released for the Amazing Spider-Man video game, which is looking a little bit better than I previously thought. This trailer puts a little bit more emphasis on the swinging aspect, just kind of moving around as Spider-Man, which I think is important. Spider-Man 2, the movie game, really kind of revolutionized Spider-Man in my opinion. And relative to what has come before it, I think you could make the argument that that's the greatest Spider-Man game that's come out. I mean, some of the ones on the PlayStation were really good, and I enjoyed them a lot, but I feel like Spider-Man 2, going from the first one, where there were some levels where you could swing around, but it was all automatic, and you couldn't go below a certain level, and the city was kind of closed off at certain points, and there were like these weird force fields or something like that, to fully being able to go anywhere and just feeling completely like this character. I think that's like the ideal of a Spider-Man game. So if this manages to capture more of that and improve on how it's been done in the past, then hopefully it will be a solid game. I'm still skeptical that it will be like a great game, because movie tie-in games in general aren't that great. And I do feel that games like Arkham City, which are allowed to be developed on their own time and give a lot of attention to figuring out how they want to do it, are the games that will ultimately be those great games for these characters. But movie games can really be influential, like Spider-Man 2 obviously changed the whole Spider-Man game series. And Batman Begins, I think, had somewhat of an influence on the first Arkham game, Arkham Asylum, because they do have kind of a similar dimension of the hiding and the scaring people as a strategy. So we'll see. Hopefully this Spider-Man game, even if it's not like amazing, no pun intended there, will sort of push the Spider-Man game series in the right direction that it needs to get to that like ultimate Spider-Man game. Again, with the Spider-Man adjectives. The really good Spider-Man game that we're all hoping to see eventually. And last but not least with Spider-Man, there has been a new clip released from the movie that features Peter Parker talking to Gwen Stacy's doorman. I think they referenced that in like the beginning of the latest trailer. Peter saying that Gwen's doorman is intimidating. So this is the scene that shows him interacting with that doorman. And it's decent. It's not really, to me, it's not really that entertaining. It's definitely worth watching. Check it out. But I think you could very easily draw a comparison to this scene I've got in the description of Bruce Campbell's cameo in Spider-Man 2, where Peter's trying to get into Mary Jane's play, and Bruce Campbell's doorman there is just being a jerk and not letting him in, and it's entertaining because I feel like there's kind of a spark in that scene that there wasn't in this scene. And there are some scenes that I vaguely remember from when I saw clips from Spider-Man months ago, like the scene with Uncle Ben at the high school, that look like they're going to be very good scenes, and they're well written and they are enjoyable, but this scene to me just kind of fell short, and I feel like they could have made it a little bit more entertaining. So it's got me slightly concerned. I'm not concerned, but slightly concerned that it's not going to be as entertaining a script as it should be, or as entertainingly performed, maybe, as I'd like to see it. But again, it's one clip, it's short, it's not really a significant scene, so I don't think there's much cause for worry. Finally, I have some new material on Ninja Turtles for you. There have been some screenshots released for the upcoming animated series. You can see this one here, and click on the link in the description to see several others. And I feel like a lot of people aren't really giving this show much of a chance. It is computer animated, and I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, we've got all these computer animated shows, Clone Wars, Green Lantern, why don't they just do it hand-drawn? And I feel like Clone Wars definitely, I haven't really watched that much of the Green Lantern series, but Clone Wars definitely benefits from using computer animation, because I feel like visually they're able to do something with that style that they wouldn't have been able to do with hand-drawn, and overall it's more impressive and it's more interesting to watch than... Personally, I don't want to compare the new Clone Wars series to the old one, but I recently went back and watched a clip from the older Clone Wars series, and I enjoyed it back when it was out, but just watching it now, it just seemed lower in comparison. It seemed of lesser quality than the new Clone Wars series, because in a way that one was kind of meant as a trial to see, are people interested in this, will they watch it if we do it? So when that got a good response, they were able to start planning and making a bigger effort to put on this show on a grander scale and higher production values, the new Clone Wars, which is a good show. So maybe this new Ninja Turtle series will be a good show as well. The visual style will take some getting used to. I mean, I'm not exactly sold on the way that they've decided to draw the turtles. Well, not draw, but, design them. And I think Donatello's got a gap, which is interesting that they just decided to give him that characteristic to distinguish him from the others. I find it interesting how they've decided to distinguish them over the past few versions of the Turtles. Like, the 2003 series is the first one, I think, that has used different colors for each turtle, and then TMNT in 2007 gave them different body types. Like, if you look at Donatello, and then you compare him to Raphael's bulkier than, I think Michelangelo is kind of shorter than some of them, so... And this one, I think Michelangelo has freckles. So, moving on from this, it does look like it could be a pretty cool series. I'd like to see a clip so I can see what the action is going to look like for it, and figure out what the tone of this series is going to be like. Because I feel like script with Ninja Turtles is very important. If you can tell an entertaining story and really make it feel like these are the Turtles that people know and like to see interact and just do anything. Like, I love watching them play, and I also love just watching them sit around and eat pizza and stuff, because they're great characters. So I hope they're able to bring these characters to life well in this new series. And if they can do that, then I think a lot of people will be able to get over their apprehension with this animation style. But moving on, I believe the name is Jonathan Liebesman, the director of Battle LA, is in talks to direct the upcoming Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film. And it's exciting to me, not so much for the director. I mean, I enjoyed Battle Los Angeles, but the fact that they are trying to move forward and get this thing going, because it's just been in development for a while and it's been feeling like nothing's been happening with it. So hopefully this is a sign that things are going to start to move pretty quickly, and to hire a director like that who did a pretty wasn't like a serious or gory movie, but it was an action film targeted towards adults. So hopefully that's a sign that they're not going too kiddie with this next movie and going to give it some degree of grit and realism and have it be able to be watched by a wide audience, not just little kids. But you do have to make it watchable by the kids. I mean, it's the Ninja Turtles. But make it something like the Spider-Man films that you can just take the whole family to and everybody's going to enjoy it. But really, that's all I've got for this week. Thank you very much for watching. If you like what you saw, like, comment, subscribe, and tune in next time.